No doubt To Tien Hoa, this much decorated and proud veteran, has been affected. As an infantryman, he daily patrolled the heavily sprayed DMZ for 8 long years.
First, before we went into the battlefield, we were provided with big gas masks, but these were too cumbersome for us to carry throughout our campaigns in the field. So these were the first things we had to lose. The second type of mask issued was made of rubber, but during the hardship of war, we usually did not have anything to cook with, so we had to burn them for fuel. When my son was born with only 4 toes on 1 foot, the midwives at the birth told my relatives that it was punishment for my time in the war, when I had to kill the enemy. For this reason, my son was paying the price for the many deaths I had caused during the war.
I can tell you that in everyday life, I never think about this, but sometimes when I see that my friends are perfect, then I get a little upset about my destiny.
But Huat never anticipated that his destiny would be passed on to his son, Nam. Severe abnormalities are now being seen in the second generation of children born after the war, in the grandchildren of those exposed to Agent Orange.
In 1977, my daughter-in-law gave birth to my grandson with no legs. I saw that he was not a normal child. At the same time, I started hearing stories about the effects of Agent Orange in the media. So then I realized that I could be one of those affected by the exposure during the war.
Does that also happen in the United States? Because in the film, one of the things that comes through is that people who fought during the Vietnam War, Vietnamese who fought, their children and their children's children are being affected. Do you see that in the States as well? Second generation people being affected?
The question is what we see and what we know we have scientific ability to have proof for. And the one condition in second generation that's given compensation for American veterans is spina bifida. The other structural abnormalities up to date are in a point of science trying to decide if they're caused or not.
Right, by Agent Orange.
By Agent Orange. There is a unique thing to Vietnam that I think that more attention should be given to, which is that most of our soldiers is male, and you're looking for a genetic problem. The largest problem of these chemicals is the load, how much of the chemicals is in a woman during her pregnancy. And these chemicals store in the woman, they cross the placenta, they can affect the baby while the baby's developing, and they can also go out in breast milk. In fact, it's a sad commentary that the easiest way for a woman to lose these chemicals is to breastfeed her child, and her child will get all these toxic chemicals.
Join me after the break, where I'll be speaking more to Gerson Smoger about the effects of Agent Orange in Vietnam, and where we'll be seeing more clips from the film Battle's Poison Cloud. Welcome back. I'm joined now by Gerson Smoger, an American human rights lawyer representing American veterans and the Vietnamese people in a law case involving the manufacturers of Agent Orange. Thanks for joining me, Gerson. I want us to have a look at this next clip because it shows some of the legal breakthroughs in the case over the last few years. Let's have a look.
In 1991, after severe pressure from ill Vietnam veterans, the US government began to compensate their own victims of Agent Orange. They recognized 10 diseases directly attributed to dioxin, and the list is growing.
Toxins can cause cancers. They can cause immune deficiency, which means the inability to fight cancer or infections, nervous system damage, reproductive and developmental problems like lower IQ in children, and they're just very persistent and very toxic chemicals.
Our government, together with the Vietnamese Veterans Association, have asked the US government to take responsibility for what they did in Vietnam. but they continue to ignore it. They do not want to acknowledge it at all.
The next step is for America's leading dioxin expert to acknowledge the Vietnamese evidence of a direct link between Agent Orange and severe birth abnormalities.
We need to be a little more certain about what the cause or causes are. I don't think we have any compelling evidence that the cause of malformations is definitely from Agent Orange, and we don't know whether the malformations are at higher numbers or the same as in other countries.